Alright, we just finished talking about UFC 296, and I am sick of talking about Colby Covington. This guy has pissed me off so much that, man, I just don't even want to talk about him. I made a whole video talking about him. If you guys want to go check that out, you guys seem to like the video. Got a lot of attention from you guys, and I feel like most people probably feel very similar about Colby. I'm done, and let's just some fight news about him. Like, we're moving on. And we're moving on to UFC 297, which takes place on January 20th, the first pay-per-view of next year. Now, this is going to be in Toronto, Canada, right? And this is a very fun card, right? Even besides the main and co-main event, this is a great card. You got some fun fights on there. I mean, even the prelims on the thing, I mean, the whole card is stacked. I mean, all the cards, honestly, in the beginning of the year seem pretty stacked. But I'm mostly going to be talking about the main event between Sean Strickland and Dricus Du Plessis. Now, I'm going to be talking about the press conference that happened last week just a little bit, and also the incident and how that's going to affect the fight, as well as Sean Strickland's new podcast with Theo that up until now has not been released, but it is reported that apparently Sean Strickland broke down in tears. Yeah, this is an absolutely insane story. But before we get into all that, I want to remind you guys to hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. It really helps the channel. And if you guys just comment, that helps the algorithm so much, helps show the video. If you guys saw last time, a lot of you commented just for the algorithm. You can see the video did 10 times better as all my other videos. Like, it literally did a lot better. But that's because comments definitely help the algorithm. And also, I get to talk to you guys. I try to respond to all the comments. And we just get to talk about MMA. So we're going to move on, though. I'm just done talking about that. Do whatever you want. Let's talk about Dricus Du Plessis and Sean Strickland. Now, Sean Strickland is coming off of that massive upset against Israel Adesanya, right? Where not a lot of people thought that he could beat Adesanya. And I didn't either, right? I thought that, he'd probably get leg kicked. He has that boxing heavy style. But everybody underestimated the defense of Sean Strickland, which is something that, I did go into the match and say, yeah, Sean Strickland has amazing defense, but I just didn't really get how so. I thought Israel Adesanya would be able to set up a lot more shots a lot better. But honestly, I think Sean Strickland showed that he might just be the better fighter. And Dricus Du Plessis is coming off of his own upset against Robert Whittaker, where no one really thought he could beat Robert Whittaker, and somehow he did. Like, that felt like, honestly, more surprising than the Sean Strickland one. It's just the Sean Strickland one had more stakes, but I genuinely was more surprised Dricus won. I even think I said in my video when breaking down Strickland and Adesanya, I think I was like, the only way I see Strickland winning is if he actually dominates and outstrikes Israel Adesanya, which actually wound up happening, but I said that kind of like, there's no way that happens. But regardless, both these guys are coming off of massive upsets, and yeah, they're going to fight next month for the middleweight title, and it's well deserved for Dricus Du Plessis' part. He put in some work, and Sean Strickland also, I'm excited to see what his first title defense is going to look like. And this matchup is close. I'm not necessarily going to predict the fight in this video. As of right now, I'm kind of leaning towards Sean Strickland, especially with Sean Strickland putting out a lot of those wrestling videos showing how good his wrestling can be. So I'm leaning towards Sean Strickland, but that could always change when we get to fight week. And yeah, so as you guys might have saw, there was a seasonal press conference with O'Malley there, Cheeto Vera, Ilya Topuria, Volkanovski, and also the main event of next month, Sean Strickland and Dricus Du Plessis. And I'm going to mostly talk about Dricus Du Plessis and Sean Strickland. Now, that was an amazing press conference. It was a pretty funny one with Sean Strickland even going at O'Malley. And it was just a very strange press conference. I love when they do these seasonal ones. They did a video in the beginning of the year saying they need to bring this back, and I'm glad they did. And this is proof alone, because all this hype has been generated simply from the start of the seasonal press conference. Like, if they didn't do this, imagine a world where UFC 297, where would that promotion be right now? Because I guarantee you what happened at UFC 296 would not have happened if it wasn't for that press conference. But the press conference, it started off a little bit normal. I felt both guys were very reserved, and that's what I expected going in. I didn't think that Sean Strickland would talk so much trash to Dricus, but we haven't really seen him at so many press conferences. And eventually it just seemed like Sean Strickland was like, look, we don't need to be friends. Like, let's talk shit about each other. He even said that, like, quote unquote, we don't have to be friends.
I like Dricus, but we're gonna fight each other. We don't gotta be fucking friends. I don't gotta be your coach. I'm not trying to grab your dick.
And he started talking about Dricus Du Plessis. Now he pulled out of that Adesanya fight.
Dricus had a pretty easy fight with Whittaker, to his credit. Injury-free. They offered him a world title. And he said, no, I rolled my fucking ankle.
Basically, Sean Strickland saying, look, I took the fight when you were too scared to, which obviously he wasn't too scared. The guy did literally fight like a month and a half prior. It's definitely unfair for Dricus Du Plessis to take that fight. Dricus Du Plessis, comes back on hot, man. It seemed like Dricus Du Plessis had a plan in his back pocket. Like, if Sean Strickland started talking shit, he was going to bring up these things. Because he was totally reserved and everything up until this moment. Because then all of a sudden he was saying, well, you were number 7th. You were nowhere going to get ranked high enough to get a title shot. And basically just saying that Sean Strickland was trash.
Yeah, but you were ranked number 7, you knew you would never make it up the ladder to get that title match, and you would of course take that fight.
Call.
You are a nip one, slip one fighter.
And Sean didn't really have much to say to that, because although I don't think that's necessarily true, at the end of the day, I mean, it looks like that, right? Because at the end of the day, he fought Nasruddin Imavov after losing to Jared Cannonier, and then beat Abus Magomedov, and then got a title shot, right? So obviously he wouldn't have normally gotten a title shot. Then of course the press conference takes a massive turn when Dricus Du Plessis brings up Sean Strickland's father abusing him.
Bro, you think your dad beat the shit out of you? Your dad doesn't have shit on me. I'm gonna show you what it's like to beat you. I mean, every childhood memory you have is gonna come back when I'm in there with you. Every single one, the one where you lie in bed at night, where your dad comes in and he beats the shit out of you.
I will take your fucking soul. You understand me, you fucking pussy?
And he doesn't just mention it, like, he goes all in. Like, the way that he phrases it, like, I don't blame Sean Strickland for being kind of in tears after. He's even, like, talking about hiding under the bed, like, specific details. Like, I'm starting to think Dricus Du Plessis got abused. However, though, Sean Strickland didn't really appreciate these comments, of course, and he came at him basically saying he was annoyed and called him a bitch and this and that. And we saw at the face-off, there was definitely some heat between the two. And then we were like, okay, we can't wait for UFC 297, but then we get to the next day at UFC 296 at the venue. UFC camera, we already know what I'm going to talk about. I mean, I don't even know why I have to set this up, but we saw Dricus Du Plessis and Sean Strickland go at each other in the crowd. First of all, whose idea was it to sit them next to each other? Like, that was obviously going to happen, especially after that press conference. And, like, have you met Sean Strickland? Like, of course he's going to do that type of thing. And they fought in the arena, and Sean Strickland was kicked out. And that's a crazy sequence of events right there. First of all, like, I don't think we've seen something like that happen in a main event championship fight since, like, John Jones and Daniel Cormier, right? When they went into that brawl that knocked down the presser. Like, that was some crazy shit. Like, I don't know, I'm trying to think. I mean, we've seen, Masvidal do that type of thing with Leon, but to do it in an actual venue, like, it was insane. The elbows too, man. The two are really going at it, and this close to a title fight. Luckily, it didn't seem like anyone was injured. First of all, someone could have been injured. We saw that Sean Strickland did fall back. We saw, obviously, Dricus Du Plessis take a lot of elbows. There could have been an injury. Obviously, now we know that there's not. Otherwise, we probably would have heard something. Sean Strickland went on Theo Vaughn's podcast, which I was hoping would come out today, so maybe we could talk about it, but it has not come out. Maybe I'll make a follow-up video reacting to it if the podcast is really that good and there is a lot to talk about. But Sean Strickland, right, he goes on the podcast and apparently starts opening up about his abuse, about the PTSD he has, and starts crying on the podcast. So I did a podcast with Theo. Goddamn, wall broke a little bit. Allergies started acting up. It wasn't my finest moment. I don't know what to do now. I think I need to go buy an iPhone and a Tesla, adopt a cat, all vegan diet, maybe start fucking dudes. I don't know. LMAO. PTSD can make a strong man weak or a weak man strong. Years and years of abuse just changes you as a man. This hate doesn't go away. The sad truth is I'm one of millions and I only matter because there's a camera in my face. Most people just suffer in silence and drown their demons in alcohol or drugs. Theo, thanks for saying you delete the video for me. I wanted to, hell, still kind of do at the end of the day, but it's life. What a crazy turnaround this past year has been for Sean Strickland. Like, if you look at a year from now, like, just a couple of days, he had lost to Jared Cannonier by split decision. I know, very controversial. Most people thought he won, to be fair. And if you look a year later, he's now the champion of the world trying to give motivational speeches. It's absolutely insane. Like, I would have never predicted this turn for Sean Strickland. He's, like, loved by everyone now. It's crazy. And it really shows, man, the fact that he's crying on this podcast. I mean, we haven't seen Sean Strickland like that. And I don't even know. I mean, the shit that he talks about, I mean, honestly, the dark truth of Sean Strickland is a really dark one. Like, at the end of the day, if you hear the things that he says, obviously a lot of it is funny, but a lot of it is based in reality, and a lot of it is going to affect his future. Like, he does talk about a lot about his dad, about his past, and the things that have happened to him. It seems like that the guy did not have a great childhood, and maybe without fighting in another world, he would be in jail. He would be, assaulting somebody. He would even kill someone. The guy has some dark things in his past, and the way he even talks about fighting, saying, hey, he needs fighting, or otherwise he'll be in a dark space. That's worrying to hear, because at some point, everybody has to give up fighting. There's no way you're going to be 80 years old fighting, and what is Sean Strickland going to do there? But I think he's making good steps right now to get to a better future. And when it comes to the fight that's happening next month, did Dricus Du Plessis get in Sean Strickland's head? He might have, right? Sean Strickland is a very hot-tempered type of guy. And while I said in the other video comparing Colby Covington and Leon Edwards in that whole situation where Colby brought up Leon's dad, right? I said that kind of backfired on Colby, because I think that Leon being more aggressive is actually a good thing for Leon, because as I said, if Leon was going backwards, I thought Colby would have won. But an aggressive Leon gives more problems for Colby. However, I feel like an aggressive Sean Strickland and maybe someone that's going to overcommit to some shots, we could see perhaps Dricus Du Plessis get takedowns off that. We could see him maybe land some shots off that. So it does actually help Dricus to get in Sean's head. And for Sean to cry on a podcast like that, because probably now all these things are coming to light, and it shows that you don't really want to lose to this guy in Dricus, right? You don't want to lose to somebody that's bringing up your childhood trauma, that's using it as entertainment. And I don't think it was too far. Like I said, I didn't say the Colby Covington thing was too far. Do I agree with it? Would I have said it? Absolutely not. Same thing, but at the end of the day, you shouldn't silence anybody. There should be no line. I just saw Michael Venom Page say that there should be a line, which is funny because the guy literally taunts all of his opponents in their fights. But regardless, no, there should not be a line, because at the end of the day, everybody has different moral standards, and we can't just judge people based on our own moral standards. Like, everybody has their own morals, everybody has their own thoughts. My morals are going to be different than the ones of you watching, than, somebody right here or whatever, from Dricus Du Plessis or Sean Strickland. Everybody has different morals, and that's okay. Everyone's going to find find people with similar morals where they belong, where they're accepted, and that's just that. So I don't think that's as easy as, like, you know, the UFC saying, well, this doesn't align with our morals, so you're gonna get fined. That's just not right. You can't do that sort of thing. But it is interesting, how will this carry over to UFC 297? I'm excited for the press conference, and I think the overall lesson here is, yes, we need more seasonal press conferences. We need these press conferences with all these people, because look at what came up from this. Look at the promotion that just came up. How many more pay-per-views is this going to get now? Like, UFC, wake up. It's time to do these things. Stop being lazy, you know, get out of the Apex too. That's annoying as well. But I know I always said I was done talking about Colby Covington, but I literally cannot get this guy out of my head. And if you guys can't either, I suggest clicking the video I came out with a couple days ago, breaking down the whole Colby Covington situation, talking about how he's the biggest clown. Like, I am pissed at this guy. I came at him with some venom. I'm done. I supported him last week. He pissed me off, and now I'm cutting ties with the guy. So guys, tune into that. Click the video on the screen. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are the best fan base in MMA, and I'll see you guys in the next one.